Hi everyone, it's Robin and welcome back to Happy at Home. Today's video is going to be slightly different, but I think you'll still enjoy it. So I have been getting a lot of questions lately about things that I've shown in videos, in my home decor, or maybe in the background of a video or anything like that. And people are wondering where I got them. Did I make them myself? Did I buy them at a store? And for the most part, these are items that I have made myself or built myself for my home that I already have tutorials on. And I know that I've had a surge of subscribers lately, which is amazing, so thank you to all of you. But I'm sure that there's been some projects that I've done in the past that you might not have seen. So I thought today it would be fun to gather up some of these items that I keep getting questions about all the time on and talk about them a little bit and direct you towards the tutorial on how to make them. So all of the things that I talk about today will have a video link down in the description box, so you can click on that and go find the video in which I made that particular item. So I hope that makes sense. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So the first item I have to share with you today is this faux barn door behind me. I made this thing years ago. I've used it all over my house in many different ways, and I still love it to this day. I think it is beautiful. I keep thinking about maybe giving it a paint job every now and then, just so that it would stand out from my wall a little bit more. But I kind of like that it kind of blends in and just gives a little bit of texture, which is what I wanted. This is super lightweight. It actually is hanging on the wall with 4 of those 3M command strips. They're awesome. This thing, I can move it around, and it is so much easier to do with like a really, traditional barn door. Was much heavier. So it's just made out of pieces of beadboard, which I had left over from my kitchen when I put the beadboard on the wall in there, and then 1x2s. So a very simple project to put together, and I will have the link for it down in the description box so you can make your own. And I've made this particular door in quite a few different sizes, so don't be thinking that you just have to make it in this size. I have a couple small ones. This is my biggest one, but I have one that's slightly smaller than this, and then I have a little teeny weeny one also. So, and I use them around the house quite a bit. So I love it. I think it looks perfect, and it gives me that rustic farmhouse look that I like. And it probably cost me, I don't know, $10 worth of supplies, so which I all had on hand anyways, so it was free to me. So anyways, that will be linked down in the description box if you're interested in making yourself your own barn door. This next item is something that is really perfect for springtime, and that's what I made it for way back when. And it is a wreath made out of hydrangea blooms. Oh, I absolutely love this wreath. It is so pretty. I love it so much. It normally gets hung on this, it normally gets hung up here pretty much every spring because I just love the look of it so much. This was super easy to make. It is on a grapevine wreath, and you just basically stick the hydrangea blooms right into it. I could easily take it out. I didn't glue it or anything, but this thing was super quick to make, and I absolutely love how it looks. I keep thinking I should make like a smaller version of it, but I never have. But this thing comes out every single year, year after year, and I'm always excited to get it out because I think it is just so beautiful. So if you've been around my channel or watched any of my Thrift Store Thursday videos, you'll know how much I love collecting vintage sheets. And one of my favorite things to do with them is to make super simple quilts out of them. And how I make my quilts is probably one of the most asked questions that I've been getting lately, and they are super easy to make. I actually have 2 different tutorials on how to make them, and I will obviously link them below, but here is one of them. I like this one. Is my one that I use in my bedroom, and it's got this beautiful blue pattern on one side, and then on the other I picked a coordinating blue fabric on the other side. And basically this quilt and the other quilt that I have a tutorial for is basically just 2 quilts, some batting in the middle, and a seam binding on the outside. Super quick, super easy. So these quilts are very fought over in my house. I think I have maybe 4 of them made up at this point, and everybody wants them all the time. and which is awesome. And I just love that you can take this gorgeous vintage fabric and make it into something very useful and so cozy and comfortable to use. It's just, oh, there's nothing like a vintage sheet. There's just the texture of it and the coziness of it. It's just amazing. I love it so much. Plus, I like to not cut the vintage sheets up into little squares and quilt that way, because I like the big, I like the color payoff and the pattern payoff of the actual quilts. Now the scraps and stuff, oh, I save all those as well, and eventually I'll make some sort of patchwork quilt with all the scraps that I've been gathering as I make stuff. Another quilt that I did make, that I do have a tutorial on, is this star quilt. This is made out of ticking stripe. I have blue ticking stripe and red ticking stripe, and this one is looking like it needs a little bit of a wash. The dogs have been snuggling with this one. But this one is a quilt that I wanted to make for years and years before I actually made it, and I was very surprised at how quickly it went together. So I love this one. I love to get this one out for like Flag Day and 4th of July, or just anytime I want to use red and blue together. This sucker comes out. This is just a throw blanket size. Yeah, I just love it so much. I mean, and this star pattern, I think this is the Ohio star, is like my all-time favorite quilt pattern. I love it so much. I love the star quilts. They are my favorite, and this particular star is my all-time favorite quilting pattern. So anyways, so that is another quilt that I made. I do have a tutorial on that as well. So this next item is something that I do not have a tutorial on, but I have a tutorial on the paint technique. So I wanted to share that with you, and also how easy this is. Now, I call these wood table runners. I don't know what else to call them, but I use these. I have like 4 or 5 of them. I have a couple in this black and white, and I have a couple that are stained with the white on top of it. I use them everywhere. Dining room table, in the kitchen, in my living room. I have one sitting on my, what do you call it, bedroom dresser right now. I love them. I think they are so nice. It's just a simple way, kind of like a tray, but it kind of corrals things that are on top of it, adds a little texture to your displays. I absolutely love it. And basically, it's whatever shape of board that you want. 1 by, I think this is a 12. And then I just give this scraping technique too, which is really super easy. You can use whatever colors you want. I prefer the black base coat with the white on top of it. It's just like my all-time favorite color combination when I am just stressing anything. I just love it so much. So these are really super easy to make, and I love them. I use them all the time. Sometimes I'll add little feet to the bottom of them. You've probably seen some of those as well. So if you want something that's super easy to make, and you can use your scrap wood around the house to make like a little table runner, put some flowers on it, whatever. You'll see I'm actually currently using this one in my dining room, on the dining room table when I have it set up, and that you will see in my winter living room, dining room, or my winter tour, if you're interested in seeing it in action. So that is a really fun thing to do, and the paint technique is super simple, and I love how it gives you that weathered wood look. It's not showing up on camera. I can never get it to show up on camera as well as it looks in real life. On camera, it just looks like kind of splotchy wood, I think. But in real life, it's just got this nice texture and patina, and I absolutely love it. So anyways, that is another thing that I get a lot of questions on. So the next item that I get a lot of questions on is the headboard in my bedroom. Let me show you a quick picture of what I'm talking about. So I made that headboard years ago. I can't even remember when. I want to say 8 to 10 years ago probably. I would really like to redo the fabric insert in the middle of it, and that's something that I want to get done this summer. So hopefully, if and when I do it, I will definitely share that with you. But so this headboard is directly attached to the wall, and I built a super simple construction, and I absolutely love it. It's so much fun to have that little shelf to decorate. And I love it so much. and I couldn't be more happy with it. So I know I get a lot of questions on how I did it. Now when I built it, it was way before my YouTube days. It was back in my vlogging days. So when I have this tutorial, I just kind of walk you through the steps and refer you to the website or to my blog instead. So so you can get a pictorial view of it, of how I put it all together. So if you're interested in that headboard, the construction of it is super easy and it turns out fabulous. I would really like to make another one for one of my girls' rooms and do it stained this time and do it slightly different. I think that would look so pretty. So anyways, the headboard was very inexpensive to make and very easy to build. So the next item is the cubby shelf that I have currently hanging in my kitchen. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So the cubby shelf was very easy to make. It only took a few basic supplies from the hardware store, and I love how it turned out. It's so much fun to decorate, and I get a lot of compliments on that shelf and people asking me where it's from, but I made it myself. You can make it yourself if you follow the tutorial that I will link down in the description box. And yeah, it is just so much fun. I keep thinking though, I was never really satisfied with the color of it. I tried something different. I mean, it's alright, but I keep thinking to myself, I would really like to repaint that. So I probably will repaint it sometime in the future. I would really love to give it a chippy, like, crackled effect to it. I think that would be really fun. So that will probably happen at some point in its near future. So let's move on to the very last project that I have to share with you today, and that is the cutting boards that I have made. So in my kitchen, I always have a stack of cutting boards at the ready, and I love them so much. I use them pretty much every single day as your basic cutting board and also as trivets for when I take the hot things out of the oven, and I just love them so much. Most of the ones I have are either found at thrift stores or I have made myself. I have yet to come across an antique one that's in my price range, but someday I will, and then I will pick it up. But until then, I make my own in all shapes and sizes. The size that I like the most is this one's about 1 foot long, has a nice little handle on it, and I also love ginormous ones like this one right here. This one's like 1.5 feet long. It's got a nice handle on it, and this is the one that I pull out almost every single day because I love the fact that it's big enough that I can put a huge roasting pan on it, or I could put several smaller pans or bowls on it when I serve dinner. So yeah, I grab this one all the time. And I also have one more. Let me go grab that. And then I also have this one right here, which I have made. I love this one. It is about 1 foot wide and nice and thick and chunky. I love this one so much, but I have to admit this one tends to be more used as a decorative item in my displays. But I love it. It's so much fun. So the video link below will show you how to make the round one and I think the large one. Basically, these two are the same. The top is the same shape. The bottoms are just in different sizes. So that's what I love about making my own cutting boards, is I can make it whatever shape, whatever size I want. And I just use simple pine boards. You could get fancy and, you know, get some more expensive like cedar or something like that. Or maybe more of a hardwood, like some oak would probably be a good idea also. But I don't mind if they get like all cut up and grooved. That's what I enjoy about them. So I love these. The more I use them, the darker their patina gets, and I think that is awesome. And this is just a very cheap, inexpensive way to get the look of vintage cutting boards without having to spend a lot of money. I think I could probably get like two large cutting boards. I could probably make out of a 4 foot board, and which is like under $6 at the home improvement store. So that is why I like to make my own so much. Plus it's fun. I like working with wood anyways. Alright, so that is it for me today. Thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified of any new videos that I upload. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you again very soon in my next video. Bye now.